Hello, welcome again to the mission, because the mission is alive and there is much to be done to bring the good news of Jesus Christ to all people, to bring the reign of God to people, the kingdom, because the reign of God, the kingdom of God, is wherever there is the law and the love of God in people's lives. I want to continue with my stories as a missionary because it's been a little bit clearer there that I leave this place and I go to another place to go on mission. For many years I was in a place called Rigo, which is east of Port Moresby, in a parish there. I wasn't the first one there. I succeeded a number of other priests who were there and brothers and sisters. And I found a situation where many people were already Catholic and where we had in place lay ministries, particularly catechists, who did a mighty job to instruct the people and to maintain the Christian life. So firstly, the work is evangelizing, to go to people and to tell them about the good news, and to continue to tell them and to build up their knowledge and understanding of what the good news was, what the gospel means. It was also pastoral, to build up those communities that were already baptized and Catholic. For this, I found that often when I went up to a village, and it was often a long walk, you could feel that there was really nothing much happening in regards to their faith life, to the life of the church. But when I arrived, they welcomed me and we did all the things we needed to do. We had Mass, we had the sacraments, I had meetings, I went to the school. But I always had the impression that once I went over the hill and back to the main station, that nothing would happen again, because there was nothing in place to maintain it. So I set about training prayer leaders, just to be able to simply lead the prayer in the villages. And I had men in from all the villages, at least all the outstations, and they were good men and they worked hard. And over a period of years I continued to train them until they were in fact types of catechists, and they were able to keep the life of the church going. So when I went on patrol again, when I went out, there was a different feeling that there was something already happening. And they themselves would discuss and they would share out the work, so that on different Sundays, one or other of them would go to another village, probably a smaller village, where they didn't have a prayer leader. So there was the prayer service, the Sunday service, and I put that together for them and trained them in that, and translated it into the language so that they could have the service with the readings. It followed the pattern of the Mass without the Eucharist. So you had the readings, there would be some commentary on the readings, there would be some other prayers, there would be some singing. And apart from that too, as I instructed these people, they learnt more about the Christian faith and they were able to communicate that and hand it on to the rest of the people. So there was a life in those villages, and was able to sustain itself and not rely on me only when I came. When I came, I worked at trying to build it up further. And I worked with those men over quite a number of years. 3 or 4 times a year I would bring them in, we'd have a week's in service, and also in that time they got to know each other and they got to talk to one another. I remember I used to deliberately leave them space and time to talk. And I remember watching one young fella talking with an older man. And the young fella came to me and said, "Father, the old man there, he was asking me about the things that you were teaching, and I was explaining them to him." And then later the old man came to me and said, "Father, that young fella, he had some problems up in his village, and I was advising him what to do." So there was an interaction going on which was good and was healthy and was also maintaining the church. So the mustard seed is an image of the kingdom. So the church grows from when I went there We continued to baptize groups of people, baptize the babies, do all the work of the church. So the tree grew and more people came into the tree, like the birds coming into the mustard seed. The tree grew and became stronger, and more birds were in it, and it was able to maintain its own life. So this was the mission alive, planting the seed of the mustard tree, nurturing its growth and looking after it, looking after the people and nurturing their faith. The mission is alive and it is still going today.